Almost a full year since the city of Rome was changed forever.
Almost in an instant when a tornado tore through the Copper City last summer. Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Jim Teske checks in months later to see how far Rome's come and how much more it has to do.
July 16th last year was the last in a series of days with damaging thunderstorms in central New York. On that day, we tracked storms that brought damaging winds to Syracuse, but as the line of storms raced east into Oneida County, tornado warning likely focused their fury on the city of Rome.
My phone buzzed, you know, one of those little warning things you get, and it said tornado in your area. And I thought, is this real? I mean, this is Rome, New York. You don't take those kinds of things very seriously.
It was unusually heavy rain, but I didn't really think anything of it. I could actually barely get this door open just because the wind was so strong.
We got into City Hall. That's when the winds came, and it was, you could hear it as we were walking up to the second floor.
It became apparent even before the rain and wind subsided that this was no ordinary storm. The winds with the tornado were as strong as a hurricane, estimated to be as high as 135 miles per hour as it tracked through the heart of downtown Rome. Our Andrew Donovan was reporting on the damage shortly after the storms hit.
As I have a photographer, Bill Goldschmidt, continue moving to his left, you can see the top of a building that I'm told was a church steeple, a steeple of, I believe, St. Mary's Church. You can see basically ripped off clean, at least from our perspective here.
Rome Mayor Jeffrey Lanigan quickly saw the scope of what the storm had done.
It was when I came upstairs after, the 10 or 15 minutes down in the basement, and I walked back up to the second floor, and I looked out the front windows of City Hall towards West Liberty, which we're standing in front of right now, and I saw St. Mary's steeple had come right down and came down into the church.
And even though the city came up $5 million worth of damage short of qualifying for federal disaster aid, it was still able to start the process of recovery.
So we plugged away, and people talked about how quickly we got the roads cleared up and the power restored. I mean, that was less than 5 days, and you could travel around this city like nothing had even happened. Obviously, there was a lot of devastation that you could see, but you didn't have any trouble traveling, or nobody was without power. So we're still plugging away every day trying to get more funding to help with this, and we're hoping at some point whether the federal government can step up and help us out, or again at the state level if they can come through with a little bit more funding. That's what we're looking for the help for.
It's been almost a year since the tornado in Rome, and as you look down the streets in downtown, you definitely can see the improvements, but there's still a number of businesses that are trying to come back and recover. Some of the worst damage was on Dominic Street, where the historic, nearly 100-year-old Capitol Theater anchored a thriving arts district. Even though the theater was spared any major damage, the number of businesses that have reopened here is far from the pre-tornado total.
We had 14 arts businesses here in this rather small block. 30 seconds of tornado, and we had, after the recovery from the initial recovery, we had 4. And that's a huge difference even to the businesses that are still here.
One of those closed businesses is the Keaton and Lloyd bookstore. Its owner, Julie Pierce, is dealing with her insurance company to rebuild, and there is still a lot of work to be done.
As far as the building goes, we don't really have anything to work with. We need to replace flooring, drywall. Our whole HVAC system ended up being on another building. And so we're really just starting the process of rebuilding.
Even business owners in this part of downtown that have reopened, like John Matwijik Walda of Super Official Coffee Shop, see the need for more work to be done.
The chamber and the city did pool some money together, but that was like immediate shot in the arm, kind of like, here's some help. And that was more than welcome. I know everybody that received that was very, they had a lot of gratitude for that. But the reality is that that got us through like then. And we still have people kind of languishing and waiting for insurance and things like that, that they're not gonna get any more help possibly.
At this point, county and state politicians are trying to bridge the gap and cover some of the losses that insurance won't cover. Ultimately, those that saw what this district had become see hope for the future.
So I think the arts district will thrive again. I think it'll take a few more months, but I think we'll, as we get into summer, these businesses are going to start coming back.
And Jim, they do have an event plan too to bring everyone together.
Yeah, that's going to be coming up on July 17th in conjunction with the Canal Ride, the bike riders coming through on that block that was so hard hit. And we talked to Julie Pierce there. You know, she's not going to own that bookstore anymore. It's going to be run by the complex there, the Capitol Complex, our complex, as a nonprofit. So that's how things have changed just in the time that it's been since I've done that interview.
My goodness.